What's up, guys? Welcome back to Screen Lab, providing you anything and everything when it comes to movies and television. Today, we give the spotlight to our favorite celebrities who have brought both memorable and forgettable scenes on the big screen. So, without further ado, here are the 10 scenes that made actors hate their job. Number 1. Margot Robbie Drenched in White Goo, Suicide Squad 2016.
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Australian actress Margot Robbie is one of the most in-demand actresses today. Robbie has earned 2 Oscar nods for I, Tonya and Bombshell, and also starred in hits such as Wolf of Wall Street and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But it's not all roses for the actress, as she has one big thorn in her career: Suicide Squad.
Come on, let's go.
Despite the brilliant visual effects, both critics and fans have panned the film, and Jared Leto's tattooed and diamond-laden Joker didn't help either.
Really bad.
Robbie plays Harley Quinn, a former psychiatrist turned psychopath, and also becomes Joker's love interest. Being poured with any type of goo is never fun for any actor. Despite being non-toxic, the sticky liquid just brings an uncomfortable feeling. In a scene from Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn throws herself into a container filled with chemicals to achieve the same complexion as her lover. Robbie describes the scene as repulsive and the most unpleasant thing she's ever done in her entire life. Aside from that, Robbie also wasn't comfortable with Quinn's skimpy shorts, saying it made her self-conscious.
What?
Number 2. Jeremy Renner hates being Loki's minion. Marvel's The Avengers 2012. After Avengers Endgame became the highest-grossing film of all time last year, there is no denying the massive impact it has brought to cinema and pop culture. Additionally, there were actors on Endgame who have been with the Avengers franchise since the very beginning, including Jeremy Renner. But it wasn't always the case for Renner though, who plays the marksman Hawkeye, as he almost quit the first Avengers film back in 2012.
I'm supposed to go water skiing. Cap needs our help.
Renner, who was reportedly unhappy with his character, saying he was sick of being Loki's minion and would rather act out a heart attack to kill off Hawkeye.
Have you ever had someone take your brain and play?
Thankfully, Hawkeye was nowhere close to having a heart attack, and Renner played a more significant role in subsequent Marvel movies, including Endgame.
I'm Clint.
Number 3. A Heartfelt Apology. What's Eating Gilbert Grape 1993. What's Eating Gilbert Grape is the film that launched Leonardo DiCaprio's career. He was so good in it that he even earned an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. But don't forget, Johnny Depp was in the film too, already getting steady roles after the highly successful Edward Scissorhands 3 years prior. What's Eating Gilbert Grape is a great film that deals with family and exploring life's pleasures. Depp, who plays the titular character, said in an interview that he felt bad having to oftentimes ridicule his on-screen mother in the film, portrayed by Darlene Cates, and would always apologize after each shooting. Although Cates didn't mind, she admired Depp for his kindness and professionalism. Number 4. A Wizarding Misadventure. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 2010. Just like the Avengers, Harry Potter is another franchise that has been very successful over its multiple movie run.
I'm Harry Potter.
With 8 films and nearly $8 billion in worldwide sales, not even counting the books, Harry Potter has made a household name of its former child actors. One of the actors is Emma Watson, who played the often misunderstood yet smart and determined wizard, Hermione Granger.
It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Her career took off after Harry Potter, but it was not an easy ride for the British beauty, who nearly quit the wizarding world multiple times.
What an idiot.
Watson particularly endured a tough time during the filming of Deathly Hallows Part 1, when she described filming certain scenes intense, grueling, and horrible.
Ah, Ronald Weasley!
The scene she implied occurred towards the end of the movie, in which filming went on for months, with her and co-stars Rupert Grint and Daniel Radcliffe being cold and wet most of the time. Number 5. A Very Uncomfortable Catsuit. Batman Returns 1992. It's safe to say that Tim Burton's Batman films were not exactly child-friendly, but they sure did leave a long-lasting impression on comic book and movie fans alike. Top-notch performances from Michael Keaton, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, and Danny DeVito, paired with Burton's grim and haunting style, essentially resulted in 2 Batman films that would become the gold standard for decades. The sets and costumes in Burton's Batman were brilliant, but Pfeiffer, who played the cunning anti-hero Catwoman, didn't really enjoy fitting in her costume. She said that it was the most uncomfortable costume she had ever worn, and that crew members would have to powder her down, then vacuum pack the suit.
Meow.
She also said the suit choked her, and that the claws would hit everything on the set. Nonetheless, it didn't seem to bother Pfeiffer on screen, but seeing all the struggle she went through just to squeeze herself in the suit, you can definitely admire her performance even more.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Number 6. Creed vs. Drago, Rocky IV, 1985. The Rocky franchise has had some memorable movie fights over the past 4 decades. Either be Rocky going against Apollo Creed, or Rocky overcoming the bigger and stronger Ivan Drago. But with every fight, there's always an inspirational story to go along with it, making it one of the most beloved franchises of all time. Even if Sylvester Stallone has long hung up the gloves, the story lives on with young Michael B. Jordan, who plays Apollo's son, Adonis Creed. Apollo Creed's death in Rocky IV was one of the most heartbreaking scenes in the entire franchise after getting beat to death by Ivan Drago in the middle of the ring. The scene almost didn't come into fruition, as Carl Weathers, who played Creed, nearly left the film altogether. In an interview in 2006, Stallone, who was also the director of Rocky IV, narrated the events of Weathers almost quitting. The scene was apparently the boxing match between Creed and Drago. Stallone said that Dolph Lundgren, who played the Russian Brute, was being too physical with Weathers, and apparently threw Weathers 3 feet into the corner of the ring. Weathers was so upset that he was threatening to leave production immediately. Fortunately, Weathers stayed on, but it would have been very interesting if a real-life Creed and Drago brawl did happen. Number 7. 127 Takes, The Shining, 1980. Based on Stephen King's horror novel of the same name, The Shining is one of the scariest movies ever made. Shelley Duvall, alongside Jack Nicholson, stars in the film directed by Oscar winner Stanley Kubrick. The movie has a number of iconic scenes that have stood the test of time, including the hallway shot of the twins, Room 237, and of course, Here's Johnny! Unfortunately, there was a true horror story that also occurred during production. Kubrick, who was known to be a perfectionist, reportedly gave Duvall a very hard time on set. This includes the infamous 127 takes, in which a scene wherein Duvall hysterically fends off Nicholson with a baseball bat was done 127 times. Apparently, the hysteria and depression found on Duvall's face were real. Kubrick also isolated Duvall from the cast and crew for the most part of the filming while regularly directing verbal abuse at the young actress. Despite being a classic, The Shining didn't really advance Duvall's career, while it also left her in an emotional and psychological wreck. But it doesn't take away Duvall giving a performance of a lifetime despite undergoing ridiculous and heartbreaking circumstances.
Here's Johnny!
Number 8. Too Much Green Screen, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, 2012.
I'm looking for someone to share in an adventure.
Sir Ian McKellen reprises his iconic role as Gandalf the Grey in The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. But in an interview on an extended DVD edition of the movie, he said he felt pretty miserable on set and that he almost quit. The main reason? Green screen. Unlike his first run as the lovable bearded wizard in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, wherein large sets and practical effects were mostly utilized, things were very different in The Hobbit. McKellen said he would shoot most of the scenes in isolation for long periods of time and found it very demanding. Fans seem to feel the same way as well regarding the use of too much CGI in the Hobbit trilogy, calling it a mess and a complete 180-degree turn on what made the Lord of the Rings so special. Unfortunately, the problems didn't end there, as all 3 Hobbit films underperformed in the box office and got dismissed by mostly everyone.
I'm going on an adventure!
Number 9. Food Poisoning, Bridesmaids 2011.
Oh, wow.
Bridesmaids is easily one of the funniest movies of all time. It didn't only rake in the cash, but it also earned an Oscar and a BAFTA nomination for Annie Momolo and Kristen Wiig, in which the latter also starred in the film.
So cute!
While the cast was mostly pleased with the success, they didn't particularly like a certain scene. In fact, Wiig absolutely hated it. In a scene where the bridesmaids go shopping in a high-end bridal boutique, they suffer food poisoning after eating in a restaurant earlier. The ladies take turns vomiting and having diarrhea, with the scene ending in Lillian, played by Maya Rudolph, squatting in the sidewalk, having appeared to have soiled herself while wearing a wedding dress.
Don't you dare ruin that dress!
Wiggs said that the scene wasn't supposed to happen, saying, "The food poisoning scene was not our idea. It was not in the original script and we didn't love it." She also added that the scene was only added so that the movie would have a little more bloke type of humor.
Coming out of me like lava!
And lastly, number 10, The Crying Jessica Alba, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, 2007. Before the MCU, there were a bunch of comic book movies in the 2000s that people have probably forgotten by now.
This is gonna be fun.
2 of them were Fantastic Four and its sequel, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. After the first film's mediocre success, a sequel was still given a green light, but Rise of the Silver Surfer still had the same problems of its predecessor, wooden performances and an uninspired plot. That didn't stop Jessica Alba, who plays Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, from trying though, even going head-to-head with director Tim Story. "I wanted to stop acting," Alba said in an interview. She also described her painful experience in coming to blows with Story, saying that he wanted her to cry pretty in a specific scene, while also saying, "Don't do that with your face, just make it flat." Story also suggested that CGI tears would suit her face better. Most moviegoers believe that the live-action take on Marvel's first family definitely deserved better, but with a director like Story at the helm, together with his treatment of Alba, the franchise didn't stand a chance.
You're on fire!
So there you have it. Of all the things we talked about in this video, what scene do you think was the most painful or miserable experience for the actor? We'd like to hear from you in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, you can check out our videos including the 8 iconic Christopher Nolan scenes that made us shooked. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe on your way out, as we will be pumping out more content in the future. Also, if you want to share this video with your family and friends to discuss what really goes on behind the scenes, click the share button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.